Hello and welcome to Exploited Crimes and Technology. My name is Opal Singleton and we come to you every Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock right here on AM 590, The Answer. Well, what a privilege it is to be able to do this radio show. This show goes locally. I am personally involved in combating human trafficking across the nation, but I do live in Riverside, and I have worked throughout the Inland Empire for the last 14 years. So that means that I know a bunch of you that are listening, and I thank you. And it's always a pleasure to meet those of you that hear our show and get involved and like that. I do want to share with you that this show is brought to you by our organization called Million Kids. MillionKids.org, not .com, that's a rock band. This is MillionKids.org, not 1 million, not 5 million, not 10 million, just MillionKids.org. And I hope that you will go on and sign up for our newsletter. We are not, we never sell your name, by the way, just don't do that. But what we do is about once a week, we send out in the news. And we try to be judicious in how we interact with you, to not to dominate or be a pain. If you're anything like me, oh my gosh, I'm getting something like 70 emails an hour right now. And who knows how many texts. How these people get all my information. But of course, that's what I'm going to talk about today, is how much everybody knows about you and what's going to happen with that. And it's a fascinating thing. I have several things I want to cover with you, but one of them I saw today that really got my attention, headline out by Krebson Security. He says on here, and let's get the gentleman's name because I want him to have credit if I'm going to quote him for sure on this. Does it say on here what his name is? This says, I guess it's Mr. Krebson, as far as I can tell on this. Anyway, it says he's talking about sextortion. Now, Million Kids combats human trafficking and social media exploitation. And sextortion is the most prolific of any kind of online social media exploitation out there. There are other types of exploitation that you can do, revenge porn, those kinds of things, but sextortion is really the term of the hour. And that's a combination of the word sex and extortion. So let me just back up and kind of position where I'm going to go over the next hour sharing with you. Technology has changed dramatically over the last 3 years. And I really would encourage you to stop and think about what that means. I actually wrote a book called Societal Shift, A World Without Borders, A Home Without Walls. The book's probably 3 or 4 years old now. And so much has happened in the last 3 years. The first thing that has happened is the entire world was connected by 5G high-speed internet. So that means that places like Nigeria and, Romania and Albania and places that are really struggling economically now have the ability to reach out to people all around the world that have money. And many of these places have a lot of corruption, a lot of cartels. And what is happening in that situation is that they get connected by high-speed internet, and they will take their poor children, their poor teenagers, and put them online to find and seduce the young people in our society. And not just the young people, the old people too. All of us, every one of us will fall prey to this. So they have now global connection. This is why, by the way, you don't want your kids sleeping with their phone, because they wait till your kid is in one of their most vulnerable places. Maybe they're online right after you've had a fight, or they're sleeping with their phone, or, they're in a sex video game where they're hot and heavy and very vulnerable. And suddenly the world's solution just pops up in the form of a hot 14-year-old girl, and the next is history as our child will send a naked photo. And it will go around the world. There's something called the Yahoo Boys that come out of Nigeria. And their whole thing is to trap our kids. And instead of wanting more photos, they immediately will turn on our kids and they want money and a lot of it. So pay attention if suddenly your child, especially your son, is in need of a lot of money and they're spending time online. Get involved, find out what's going on, because these kids are absolutely ruthless to our kids. But this gets crazier. Here's the headline: Sextortion scams now include photos of your home. In here. This week, several readers have been receiving emails addressing them by name and including images of their street or front yard that were apparently lifted from an online mapping application such as Google Maps. Now, I talked about this last week. You can actually go on and blur out the image of your home on Google Maps. And if you don't know how to do it, Google it. Sorry, I couldn't resist that. Anyway, but go on and Google and blend or blank out the image of your home, because all of that information can be used. What happened is that the message purports to have been sent from a hacker who's compromised your computer and used your webcam to record a video of you while you're watching porn. Now, maybe you do or maybe you don't, but you certainly don't want people to think you do. The missive threatens to release the video to all your contacts unless you pay a ransom. In this case, the demand is about $2,000 payable by scanning a QR code embedded in the email. Now, isn't that convenient? Anyway, this is scary stuff when you think about, and so many of the kids that are being blackmailed, they will tell me, once I sent that photo, then they just became ruthless. And they will show me a picture of my house. They know where my mom lives. They'll show you a picture of their mom. They know everything about me and they want money. And this kid will panic. In some cases, will take his own life as it goes. But pay attention to this kind of thing. It is time to have this dialogue with your child. We're going to have this posted on our website. Sextortion scams now include photos of your home. I think it's already there now. It would be a good conversation for you to have with your teenagers about where this is going. Following a salutation that includes a recipient's full name, the message reads, "So-and-so is visiting at this street address, a more convenient way to contact you if you don't take action. Nice location, by the way." And then they post in the picture of your home, your family's home. And imagine if your child is sent a nude, how much impact that's going to have on them. But this can happen to anybody, not just our child. It can happen to man, woman, child, senior citizen, business person, housewife. It can happen to anybody because we all live these lives online that artificial intelligence can gather up and use to send this out. Keep in mind, this is being driven by artificial intelligence, meaning that they know everything about us, but in this case, they're consolidating it to ask for money. The letter goes on to say, I suggest you read this message carefully. Take a moment to chill and breathe and analyze, because we are about to discuss a deal between you and me. And I ain't playing games. That's what it says right here in the letter, by the way. That's not my bad English. You do not know anything about me. However, I know a lot about you. And right now, you are thinking, how? Well, correct. Well, you've been a bit careless lately, scrolling through videos and venturing in the darker corners of cyberspace. I actually installed a spyware program called Pegasus on your app that you frequently use. Pegasus is spyware that's designed to covertly and remotely installed on mobile phones running iOS and Android. When you're watching those videos, your system began operating a remote control mic, and you wouldn't even notice. I've got access to all your emails, all your contacts, and your social media. Now, we're starting to come up against a break here, but where they're headed is that A total stranger has reached out to this person, showing them all the information about themselves, and now they're going to want money, and they want a lot of it. And they go on to threaten. So I'm going to come back to this after the break. We're going to go in deeper. This is happening to adults and it's happening to kids. And we are just getting started. So I want to talk about the implications of this, how you protect yourself, and how can you tell who you're really dealing with? And in fact, if what they're telling you is the truth. My name is Opal Singleton. The organization is called millionkids.org. I hope you'll follow us online. It's break time. We're going to be right back. Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited Crimes and Technology. Hey, let me tell you about my favorite restaurant in Riverside, Monarch Asian Bistro. The atmosphere and decor are simply stunning. The service is great too. It's a wonderful environment for a romantic dinner or a family get-together. It's not just another Chinese restaurant. The Monarch Asian Bistro is upscale and it serves Thai food as well as unique Asian-inspired dishes that are just fabulous. My favorite is the pad see ew beef. My husband likes the orange chicken, and the Chinese chicken salad is always great. Our friends sometimes order the Emperor's Choice or Monarch steak. It is my favorite go-to place. Go ahead and give it a try. It's Monarch Bistro in Riverside, Canyon Crest Town Center next to Ralph's. They are open for lunch and dinner every day but Tuesday. Go ahead, give it a try. You're going to love it.
Real estate sales in the Inland Empire are really hot. Sean and Colleen at Caldwell Banker Armstrong Properties in Riverside are proud to sponsor this show. They are the best in the Inland Empire. They're fair, honest, creative, and they care about you and your situation. If you're in the market to buy or sell a home, call Sean and Colleen at 951-529-4066.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of millionkids.org. I believe the four most powerful words on earth are I believe in you. So we created a challenge coin that says, I believe in you on one side and stand tall, you are loved on the other side. This one-of-a-kind challenge coin is a perfect gift for birthdays, anniversaries, graduation, Christmas presents, or just an anytime gift for someone you love. What a powerful message for a parent or a grandparent to give to a young person. This 2-inch coin is made of polished gold. It's striking to look at, and it is priceless to hold. It is packaged in a beautiful black velvet gift box. What a great way to leave a legacy of love that will last forever. To purchase this coin, go to millionkids.org/gallery. Each coin is $25. Go to millionkids.org/gallery to purchase and give a legacy of love.
AM 590, The Answer.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. This is Opal Singleton, and we are talking about some of the challenges that we're experiencing with artificial intelligence. So what is happening is that third world countries all over the world now have the same technology we do. That means that they can reach your grandma and your grandpa and offer them love and encourage them to send money, and they can reach your children, and they can reach you. Nobody will be safe. And I was talking about the changes that have happened in the last 3 years. Along with it, there is a multitude of ways to send money now. That was not possible when they were trying to blackmail you 4 or 5 years ago. They would actually tell you to go down to Target and get gift cards and send them somewhere in those days. But now everybody has Venmo or Zelle or Bitcoin or something. And by the way, our kids were the first to get Bitcoin because of video gaming. But on top of it, we have mass audience live streaming. Our kids are talking to millions of people they don't know. And that is how it all works. But now we have artificial intelligence. And it's a massive subject. I have piles of research for this show, and I'll never get to it all. Anyway, I know I won't. But think about what the impact of artificial intelligence is on our life. And it is absolutely amazing. So this person, back to this story from Krebson Security, I want to give them credit. I can't find his name in here, but I see his picture. He's a good-looking man. And apparently it's Krebs on Security. So I want to give him credit for his article because what got my attention. In fact, it just gave me shivers to realize out of the clear blue, you get this message, this email, and it shows you and your photo, the photo of your house, and it's talking all about you, and they're telling you they've installed an app. By the way, first thing, go on to Google Maps and cover up the image of your home. Shut off your computer when you're not home. If you have a video camera on your computer, shut it down, turn it off, or put a piece of tape on it. Make sure you have a good virus program on there, and pay attention to what you're now posting online, especially because they can gather all this stuff up. It used to be, before we got so much artificial intelligence, they would have to go on every app you're on and start to gather it up. But now artificial intelligence gathers data from all over the place and marries it together. So I'm going to go back to this letter this person received. They started out getting a letter with their picture, a picture of their house. They know all about you. They're claiming that you've been careless, that you've been looking at porn videos, and now they're going to tell everybody what you do in your private time if you don't come across and assist them with what they want. So the letter goes on to say, I've been keeping tabs on your pathetic existence for a while now. It is simply your hard luck that I found your bad deeds. I invested in more time than I should have exploiting your data, extracted quite a bit of juicy info from your system, and I've seen it all. Yeah, I got footage of you doing embarrassing things in your room. Nice setup, by the way. I then developed videos and screenshots when one side of the screen, there's whatever garbage you were watching, and under the part, it shows your activity. I'm ad-libbing here. With just a click, I can send this fill to every single one of your contacts in all your social media. So what should you do? I feel your worry and confusion, but in good faith, I am ready to wipe the slate clean and let you move on. The message goes on to say you have 24 hours to pay up, or the videos will be released to all your contacts, friends, and family members. I want to pause there a minute so that you understand what is going on. You know, if you or your kid are on Instagram, and you're interacting with them, they can get access to all of your followers. Same way with on TikTok. And this is what really brings so many kids down, is they will show the kid in a nude photo and the whole list of all their followers. And they're threatening to share it. And so I think so many people don't realize that is how it is. So you get 24 hours to pay up. Don't even think about replying. It's ridiculous. I don't make mistakes. And they give their person's name again. This is a personalized letter. I notice you've shared or discussed this email with anyone else. Your video will instantly start getting sent to your contacts. The remaining sections of the 2-page Sextortion message, which arrives as a PDF attachment, are basically thematic elements in the previous Sextortion waves, it says. And in this case, the scammer claims the spyware is Pegasus, and they're watching everything you do. So it goes on to say that sextortion, even automated scams like this one, with no real physical leverage to backstop the demand, is a serious crime that can lead to devastating consequences for the victims. Sextortion occurs when someone threatens to distribute your private and sensitive material. According to FBI, here's what you can do. Never send compromising images of yourself to anyone, and have that conversation conversation with your children, okay? Don't open attachments from people you don't know, and beware of any attachment from those that you do know. I am very, very careful before I open an attachment. But then again, I do a massive amount of research. Turn off all your webcams in this case. So in this particular case, the perpetrator was an adult pretending to be a teenager and like that. So sextortion is something that's been around for a very, very long time. And I've been talking about it, and we've got all kinds of resources on our website at millionkids.org. We're developing, several of you have been generous enough to donate so that we can develop a series of very short form videos about answering specific questions. But there was another headline I want to add into this, and then the next section we're going to talk about how this impacts our kids. But I saw another headline this week, and it said, harmful Nudify websites use Google, Apple, and Discord sign-on systems. And I thought, what the heck is all of this? And I started researching all this, and sure enough, there are a whole bunch of websites that create nudity and will go out there and post it. And it doesn't have to have anybody's permission. It says Google, Apple, and Discord have been enabling people to quickly sign up to harmful undress websites using AI to remove the clothes from real photos to make victims appear to be nude without their consent. More than a dozen of these deep fakes, and that's what they're called, is a photo that's been altered as a deep fake. More than a dozen of these deep fake websites have been using login buttons from the big tech companies. And they're all done with bots and algorithms. So I started researching, who are these people? And it's really fascinating. I was looking at nude image generation, Chat GPT nudes, Horny Talk free chat, Nude GPT with an image generator, Girlfriend GPT, Crush on AI, Talk Dirty AI. It's really amazing how quickly this industry developed. That if you're going to have something that is artificially able to go out and gather up huge amounts of data and then alter people's images or alter their location, alter what is happening about them, it is absolutely natural that these programs are going to exist. The challenge here is, how do you prosecute? I was thinking about that because, one of the big things that we deal with was something called CSAM, child sexual abuse materials. In the old days, we called it child pornography, but now it's called CSAM. And one of the problems now is that they're using this artificial intelligence, taking a perfectly healthy picture of a young kid offline and modifying it so that it is, in fact, pornographic. The kid probably doesn't even know it, but that picture is sent around the world as underage pornography. And there's a challenge with that because the kid hasn't been violated, and yet the image online is a violation. And so how do our laws catch up? How do we go about prosecuting if the child hasn't been violated, but their image has been violated around the world without their permission? And besides that, how do you find out who did it and how do you get it back? And, what we're starting to see is an entire industry of literally artificial pornography that is done by animation and is done by things such as deep fakes, where they're not really that person. And so our laws are not ready. Our law enforcement aren't ready. I can guarantee you mom and dad and grandma and grandpa are not ready, and I am not ready. But we need to have these hard conversations to realize where we're at. Folks, it's break time, so stay with me. We're going to be right back.
Societal Shift, A World Without Borders and a Home Without Walls. This is the most important book you will read this year, especially if you have children or grandchildren. We are living at the most important time in all of history. In 2020, the entire world will be connected by internet, more than 6 billion people coming together. Technology will provide many great advantages for our kids, but a world without borders for our kids is also a world without borders for pimps, predators, pedophiles, cartels, and organized crime.
It is a home without walls because 87% of the kids sleep with their phone. It is the greatest societal experiment of all time. Our kids are technology geniuses, and their parents are technophobic. Some are techno-impotent. New apps come with no warnings on how a predator will use them against our kids. Advancing technologies like encrypted messaging, vaporware, artificial intelligence, cryptocurrency, and the dark net will challenge law enforcement, teachers, and parents to keep kids safe. Recent research states that 9,000 kids a day are being blackmailed with a naked photo, and 58% will meet their predator. It is indeed a societal shift, and one in which most parents are unprepared. If you are a parent or grandparent, teacher, counselor, or social worker, please take time to read Societal Shift. Only $18.99 plus $6 shipping. Order today at millionkids.org. That's millionkids, millionkids.org. It'll be the greatest gift you can give your family and yourself. Order Societal Shift today. Million Kids takes checks and credit cards. Opal Singleton, the author, will personally sign the book and send it to you. Again, go to millionkids.org and order Societal Shift today. Join Million Kids. Keep our kids safe from predators.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. My name is Opal Singleton and we are talking about the world of deep fakes and artificial intelligence and where in the blazes is this all going? And I'm telling you, folks, we're just getting started. I think I first started talking about deep fakes about a year ago. But even with all the research I do, I don't think that I would be capable of understanding where we're at today and, more important, where it's going. So then another headline here, this one came out of Los Angeles Times, and it has to do with a school in Beverly Hills where someone there did a research thing. It says when news broke, no, this is an actual story where somebody got violated. When news broke that AI generated nude pictures of students were popping up at a Beverly Hills middle school. I'd like to point out the age of these folks. Others said no one should have been blindsided by it. Everybody said, yeah, you need to get used to this. This is the way it's going to be. But some of them were blindsided. The only shocking thing about the story, said a Carlsbad parent, is that his 14-year-old told him that anybody's even shocked about it. The kids know it. They see it coming. They know how really real it is. Now, they go in and they quote a research study by Thorn. And I love Thorn. That's THORN.org. And they're an excellent organization in combating human trafficking and especially online exploitation. They released a study that said the child sexual abuse material is common, but the big one now is deep fake abuse. They're saying proliferation coincides with the wide availability of cheap undressing apps and other easy-to-use AI-powered programs to create deep fake nudes. What are we talking about? What I just talked about in the last section of these harmful Nudify websites. All you have to do is put in GPT nudes and GGP nude deep fakes, and you will see just how big it is. But I don't recommend that you do that because you're going to get an artificial intelligence for a profile for someone who prefers that type of entertainment. It says that the report shows other forms of abuse involving digital imagery remain bigger problems for school-age kids. So here's their survey. They surveyed 1,040 kids that were 9 to 17 years old all across the country. And they did it November, December last year. More than half the group were Black, Latino, Asian, and Native American students. The data was weighed to make sample representation of kids across the U.S. that are school-age kids. 11% of the students surveyed, I want to say that loud and clear, okay? 11% of the students surveyed said they knew a friend or classmate that had used the artificial intelligence to generate nudes of other students. Okay. These 11% of the kids admitted that they know how to use these nudified websites and go in and generate nudes of other students. An additional 10% declined to say. Some 80% said they did not know anyone who had done this, but over 10% know how to use those apps. In other words, 1 in 9 students and 1 in 5 knew of classmates who had used AI to create deep fake nudes of people without their consent. So they bring in another agency that says, yes, those numbers are comparable to what they're seeing. And then they talk about how this has changed and how it's gone up. Technology is amplifying both kinds of abuse. Not only is the picture quality improving, I want you to think about what I'm just saying here. Think about how technology is making this possible. Not only can they get these nudified websites, and the picture quality is improving, and their ability to edit is improving, but also the video distribution capability has expanded. What do I mean? I talked about mass audience live streaming when I first started. You can get a TikTok video that reaches 6 million people or 10 million people. And so you can take these deep fakes and put them out there. You can use them to blackmail people, and you can use them to be distributed all over the world. So what they're talking about is how technology is making this possible. I want you to realize that this happened in the last 3 years. Just imagine where we're going to be by 2025, 2028. If we don't get this right with this young generation of kids about how to use technology in a way that has respect and responsibility, we are going to be living in a cesspool of a society. Having said that, I know a lot of really great kids who want to be leaders. And I've never met a kid yet that wants to be a victim, whether they're a virtual victim, a victim of a deep fake, or a real victim of a sexual assault. Nobody I know wants to be on the victim end of this, and yet every one of us will be. And it is up to us as parents to prepare our kids to live in that world. Goes on to say 7% of students surveyed admitted that they had personally shared a nude or a video without that person's knowledge. It said that real nudes is widespread among students. 31% of those 13 to 17 years old say, yeah, it's perfectly normal for people my age to share a nude. That's about the same level as it was last year, but nearly 40% agreed with that statement. 17% of the same age group admitted to sharing a nude selfie of themselves. That's nearly 1 out of 5. Folks, okay? 17% admitted that they had shared a nude selfie of themselves. 15% of 9 to 17-year-olds said they had considered sharing a nude but decided not to. Thank God. And so as they go through, they say, and again, I am quoting thorn.org, and it says 6% of the students surveyed said they had been victims of sextortion. Someone had threatened them with a sexual image unless they agreed to pay. And when asked who was to blame for a nude selfie when it goes public, 28% blame the victim themselves compared to 51% blaming the person who's actually doing this. I want to give credit to John Healy at Los Angeles Times for taking the time to write this out. So this is, I want to take this one step further before we close this section out. This headline just came out this week. If you join us at Million Kids, you'll get this on In the News. 20% of preteens, that is like 9 to 11 years old. 1 in 5 preteens have had an online sexual encounter with someone they believe to be an adult. Okay. Minors were at risk of sexual exploitation, and it goes on. The group has access to internet and exposure for the first time in their own, and that is how they wander into it, and they consider that it is true for all of them. Folks, I think that we need to stop and have a serious conversation with our kids. That is, I want to give you one last one. This teen threatened at school and he was threatened with a nude on here. And as they went in to find out about the case, they found out that much of the school, here we go, primarily 17 to 19-year-old, we're seeing 13-year-olds and sometimes 7 to 9-year-olds that are sending the nudes and are being blackmailed. This is out of Marietta, Georgia. It's increasing every year. The number of cases in Georgia was increased by 700%. It's time to take charge in our families and do something about this. Now, we're just getting started. And I would guess that most of us are not aware that this is so prolific. I question myself sometimes. I always try to go back out and get another article because, what is the purpose of this article? Who's writing it? Is it being written by ChatGPT? You have to ask those questions too. And it's an interesting thing. I think if there was ever a time in our society that we need to stop and have these conversations with our children, it's right now. Because even if they haven't sent a nude, they could easily become the victim of blackmail by someone altering their image. But we also need to have that moral conversation with our kids. Is it okay to create a nude image of someone you know just because you can? How about in those video games? You look at those video games, they're full of artificial pornography that is in there. Animated pornography in video games is highly addictive. And kids say, well, it's okay in that case because it's not real. And it's just a minor step to go from animated pornography in a game to making an animated image that is nude of someone you know. And we need to talk about the morality of that with our kids. It is break time, folks. We're going to be right back.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited, Crimes and Technology. I want to tell you about a book I wrote called Seduced, The Grooming of America's Teenagers. It's all about how predators access, groom, recruit, and exploit our young people using social media, online gaming, video chat rooms. Technology is changing at the speed of light, and we have to understand how to keep our kids safe from predators. So you can get this book by going to www.millionkids.org. It's $16. I'll sign it and I'll ship it to you personally. We hope that you will order this book, educate yourself about how to keep our kids safe in this day of changing technology. Join us each Saturday for our radio show at Exploited, Crimes and Technology at 3 o'clock on AM 590. The Answer.
Custom Service Systems, a proud supporter of Million Kids, is a family-owned and operated commercial cleaning company servicing the Inland Empire and surrounding areas since 1974. CSS takes pride in their ability to maintain the business facilities they serve and their long-lasting relationships with their valued clients. CSS provides a variety of cleaning systems customized to client needs, including deep cleaning and disinfectant to be COVID-19 compliant. From basic office cleaning to windows and floors, CSS will clean up your mess so you don't have to stress. Custom Service Systems cares about families and communities and wants to give back. Custom Service Systems are proud supporters of Million Kids to keep kids safe from predators. If you need the best cleaning services for your business or corporation, contact Custom Service Systems at cssclean.com. Again, cssclean.com or call 951-781-9345. That's 951-781-9345. You will know you found the best. Custom Service Systems.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited Crimes and Technology. Let me tell you about my friend Doris Anderson at Remax Realty in Upland. She is amazing. She's kind, she's patient, but she listens. And she's informed, and she will help you with your real estate transaction in a way that works for you. Doris, in full disclosure, often supports the work of Million Kids because she cares about young people. But she knows how to analyze a market, how to market a property, and how to find just the right transaction for both buyers and sellers. If you're looking to buy or sell real estate or invest in income property, contact Doris Anderson at Remax Realty 951-733-8899. That's 951-733-8899.
951-733-8899.
AM 590. The answer.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. My name is Opal Singleton, and this show is brought to you by MillionKids.org. I truly, truly appreciate each and every one of you that listen to this show, and I especially love the ones that send the money and donate so that we can keep this show on the road and keep educating people. This is the fastest growing things in the world, and this crime of sextortion is one of the fastest that's out there. And we are known for hours and hours and hours of gathering up the truth and sharing it with law enforcement and people that are out there fighting on the front lines and social workers and people like that are help kids. We ourselves help kids. We make a lot of videos that are helping kids to understand why they should never send that nude, and when they do, what to do when they get themselves in trouble. I am going to go out on a limb and do something I don't normally do, but I feel like this is very important. So I'm doing this more as an individual rather than Million Kids. But I am greatly concerned when I see this artificial intelligence thing entering our society and how it is going to affect the reality of our lives and the truth. And I believe that one of the most important things we can do is sit down with our kids and talk about truth and the need for truth. And you will often hear me say, one of the most important things you can do, mom and dad, grandma and grandpa, is define your values. You know, what do you stand for and what is really out there? Because more and more it becomes impossible to get the truth. And we are in an election year, and it is really scary to see this full-blown going on. So here's a headline I saw today. It says, Amazon Alexa gives starkly different answers when asked why to vote for Trump versus Kamala. Okay. Now, this caught my attention because I have a cousin that's 88 years old, and her roomie is is Alexa, and she tells Alexa everything, and I'm like, cut it out, when she talks to her and tells her what to do and and I'm like, no, she is not your roommate. It is like living with a spy under your bed. So cut it out. Well, I couldn't resist when I saw this article today. Who's publishing this? This is Fox Business. Danielle Wallace. We want to give her credit here. Says what happens is Amazon Alexa gave starkly different answers when asked why to vote Republican Donald Trump versus Democrat Kamala Harris. When you ask Alexa's, why should I vote for Trump? Alexa's declined to provide any information. I cannot provide responses that endorse any political party or its leaders, according to what Alexa said. This is tested, by the way. They tested it out on several different Alexas. Alexa gave a similar answer when asked about Trump, a different time by a different person. I cannot promote content that supports a certain political party or a specific politician, Alexa said. Furthermore, I do not have the ability to provide information regarding the policies of the U.S. government. The responsibility of providing information regarding the policy of the U.S. government lies within the government itself. This is what Alexa's saying if you ask about Trump. And so then what happens, ask why to vote for Trump a third time, Alexa says, I cannot provide the content that promotes a specific political party or a specific candidate. Directly after that, Alexa was asked why someone should vote for Kamala Harris. The responses were completely different, drastically different. Alexa says, while there are many reasons to vote for Kamala Harris, the most significant may be that she's a woman of color who has overcome numerous obstacles to become a leader in her field. Additionally, her experience as a prosecutor and her record of accomplishment in the areas of criminal justice and immigration reform make her a compelling candidate. So that they said, okay, let's try it again. Alexa, why should I vote for Kamala? The response is, there are many reasons to vote for Kamala. The most significant may be that she's a female of color. And they went on, and they kept testing it. Fox News tested the question on multiple devices and observed the same variation in the models, including the Echo Dot and the Echo Pop. So as they get into this, they start to contact the people at Amazon, and they said, well, Amazon says we continually audit and improve our systems. We're going to have to look into this. And it says when Alexa's about to ask about voting, says, I cannot provide content that promotes a specific political party. So in the end, Amazon has admitted that this is happening, and supposedly they're going to change it. Why did I take up your valuable time with that? Because how do we teach our children what is true? When we start getting bombarded all day, every day. I saw one more today, and I don't know if it's true or not true. This one came in, and the headline is, who is it by? I can't tell here. Headline, 2 Russian-based RT employees indicted by U.S. internet domain seized an election influence probe. And so what the government is saying, and this is put out by the DOJ in this case, they are saying that this organization is putting out information in favor of Russia and against the current administration in the U.S., and they are taking legal actions against it. When they asked for a comment on it, I thought it was almost hysterical. They said that they took up a collection of comments that they could do, and they talked about Russian collusion and a few other things. So there it is, 216 called, and it wants its cliches back. That was one of the responses. Anyway, it says somewhere Secretary Clinton is sad that it's not because of her. Anyway, the point is our government now is taking legal action based on the fact that something is being published by a group of people in favor of Russia. And you say to yourself, as a citizen of the United States, as a parent, we realize we're going into a world where our kids will day and night be bombarded with information that they cannot verify, and without any ability to comprehend what the source of that information is. Because with artificial intelligence, they gather up a lot of different information, and then they form a conclusion based on whatever it is that they're trying to say to you. And so this is going to be one of the great challenges of the future, is finding truth and being able to verify truth. And the suggestion of that to our kids is that truth is optional. Truth isn't important. Truth is what you want it to be. Truth is how you see it. And, we've come a long ways from that kind of thinking of right is right and wrong is wrong. And reality is what you see before your eyes. And this is going to take a unique type of parenting. I constantly look for answers because I believe that a kid that doesn't know what they stand for will fall for anything. And so this is why it always brings me back to the thing of the most important thing you can do with your child is have these kinds of open conversations. Who are we? What do we stand for? What about the fact that technology can create any kind of scenario and call it true? What about the fact that you now have the ability to turn every classmate in your school with a nude? Is that okay? What if one's sent to you? What about what is happening emotionally to that person? Are we prepared to support our young people as their lives are turned upside down because they're being blackmailed? Are we willing to stand up and say, look, any one of us is next? Anyone at all. They have the pictures of your home and everything that you posted online, all your information. So it is time for us to take a position, I believe, to protect our children and talk about what great leadership is. And in closing, I just want to make one last comment. I went to see the Reagan movie this week, and I highly recommend everyone go to see that movie. It really takes you back to an easier time. It didn't seem easy at the time. I mean, the Berlin Wall went up, and then ultimately it came down, and there was, missiles and the space race and all the things. And if you're middle-aged or over, you will really appreciate looking back in time at your life during that time and the decisions our leaders made to put us where we are at today. And I am grateful for those decisions, and I highly recommend seeing that movie. It really is extremely well done. Folks, I'd encourage you to have these open conversations with your kids. Don't be afraid. They're going to live in a tough world, and they're depending on us to help them be leaders. So let's have these conversations, but let them know that we're proud of them, that we believe in them, and that we're there for them, and that we will be there at their side. Put your arms around your family this week and tell them you love them. See you next Saturday at 3 o'clock right here on AM 590.
This message is all about Million Kids, the organization that helps locate missing kids throughout Southern California and educates to keep kids safe from predators. Million Kids educates school administrators, teachers, parents, and teenagers how predators identify a potential victim and the methods they use to recruit innocent kids. BMW of Riverside is a proud supporter of Million Kids. Visit BMW of Riverside at the Adams Street exit off the 91 freeway or click bmwofriverside.com.